What type of personality did Joe have, and how was he received in the locker room?
You know, he had a nice personality because I mean he was reserved, but he was able to be a good leader too. That's I think what you can see about him because one, he knew what his skills were. He had a great arm. Obviously, with those skinny legs and all that stuff, he wasn't able to be real mobile, but he knew what he was able to do, and then he was able to translate that when he was in the huddle. And he was a good energy guy. He was very popular in the locker room because one, you can just see the talent. I mean, this guy had a great arm. He was very accurate, and it's like here's Terry Bradshaw, a Hall of Fame caliber guy who's been up and down and all those different things, and here comes Joe Gilliam, and you're just flinging the football, and you go, wow, look at this guy. And because of the way that he handled himself, he fit in perfectly. He seemed to have what was going to be a great career ahead of him. The question was, at some point, was he going to beat out Terry Bradshaw? And once he did.
In terms of talent, could you elaborate a little bit more on his talent, like in terms of overall skill level? Compare and contrast him and Bradshaw.
Well, I mean, it's different because, I mean, Terry Bradshaw was that perfect pocket passing 6'3" quarterback who can run, throw the ball. I mean, I watched for like 12 years, and I don't think I ever saw a wobbly pass come out of Terry Bradshaw. I mean, every pass was just so precious because, I mean, it was the perfect spiral. I mean, it could sail 50 yards, 40 yards. I mean, it was just phenomenal to watch. I mean, watching practices with Terry Bradshaw, you never really see anything like it. The skills of Joe Gilliam were different, but in a lot of ways, Joe is probably 3 decades ahead of where he should be. I mean, because where he was, I mean, he's the perfect quarterback now. Perfect quarterback in the 2010s. Because when you really look at it, what did he do the best? He threw the football. At that time, it was a running era. I mean, Terry Bradshaw would go through games where he only threw 12 and 15 passes. Joe Gilliam was the type of guy that can go out there and go no huddle and throw 50 passes. You look at what his body type was like, it's a lot like RG3, except, he did not really have the running ability because his legs were so skinny, and you kind of looked and it was like that was not going to happen. But I mean, when you really look at what he was, I mean, he really was a quarterback of the 2013s, 2014s that was playing back in 1972 to 1974.